Welcome to Grit, the Real Estate Growth Mindset podcast, hosted by Brian Charlesworth, founder of Sisu. Sisu provides growth automation software for real estate. You'll hear stories from real estate thought and technology leaders, team owners, and brokers on how they grew their business in a rapidly changing industry. You'll learn how to transform your brokerage and teams into a high-performing and analytics-driven business so you have a new, durable, competitive advantage against disruption in your market. So let's get right into it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grit Podcast. I'm Brian Charlesworth. I'm the founder of Sisu and the host of the show, and I'm really excited about today's guests. And I'm going to say that's plural. That's guests with an S. These two really work as a team. It's husband and wife. And I'm going to introduce Desi and Tyson Williams to the show. But, you know, when I think about grit and what it takes to really take your business to the next level, like these two, I think, are the perfect example of how to do that. So I've been trying to get them on the show for a while, and I'm really excited to introduce these guys. So Desi and Tyson, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Desi, you are in real estate full-time. Tyson is not. Tyson is like the background to your business, but also works in other businesses. So this is not a full-time thing for Tyson. But Tyson, based on what I'm understanding, you are the ops behind the business.
Yep.
You run the ops. Okay. All right. So Desi, when did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate back in 2013 as kind of a fun hobby to do. And stay-at-home mom, you know, I could do it on the side for fun.
Yeah. So sell homes to your friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, weren't you guys in Orange County at that time, or where'd you live?
Yeah, so I got my license. We lived in Yorba Linda, just north of Anaheim a little ways. And the first few years, that's where I kind of started my real estate career.
Okay. So you guys were in Orange County. You were in real estate. Tyson, what were you doing in 2013?
So my background is accounting. So I was CFO for a logistics company.
Okay. So you're a CFO in 2013. Desi's saying, hey, I'm going to get into real estate because it looks fun. Maybe buying Beverly Hills wasn't around back then, but yeah, that's probably what you had in your mind,
Yeah.
right? And I have to say buying Beverly Hills instead of the other ones because they all use Sisu and buying Beverly Hills. So anyway, when did you guys move? Well, you started as a part-time. When did you go full-time, Desi?
So we decided in 2017 that California wasn't really for us anymore.
Okay.
And we wanted to raise our kids. I felt like the only way they'd learn to work hard is on a farm.
Okay.
So where else would you move but Burley, Idaho?
Okay.
And so we moved here in 2017, and I thought I was just going to make goat milk soap and feed my kids organic, homemade food. And I found out it's actually pretty boring. And so in 2019, I went to Tyson and said, hey, like, I'm sick of this being a hobby. I want it to be a full-time gig, and I think I could take over this market. And he was like, boom, 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 boom. I've been researching. I've got everything ready to go.
So you guys were both seeing the same thing. So I want to back up a little bit because, I mean, for the listeners out there, imagine living in Orange County and just out of the blue saying, hey, for the sake of our kids, I want them to be raised differently. I want them to be raised with work ethic. And, you know, I want them to experience farm life. I don't know where you guys got that. Or did you want to grow up on a farm? Desi
Yeah.
grew up on a farm. Where'd you grow up?
Yeah. Just like my parents always had like goats and cows and chickens and horses, and we were always outside gardening, and just we lived off the land a lot.
Okay. Okay, cool. So all of a sudden, here you are in Orange County, and you say, we're moving to Burley, Idaho. Most of you listeners probably don't know where Burley, Idaho is, but I do because I live in Utah, and it's not that far from here. And I also have a cousin that lives there. So you move to Burley, you get a little bored of doing the farm work with your kids every day, and you say, I think I can dominate this market. Tyson, you had decided that before she had. So what is it that you noticed, Tyson, that made you say, hey, I'm going to go do this work to see how we can really dominate this market?
So I would say I've always been interested in real estate. So I've always been like watching, and I go do the trainings and things, and I'm seeing what was happening in our local market, going, nobody's doing even like professional photography, nobody's doing ads here, nobody's running any type of systems. But I tried to push it a little bit too soon on Desi, and she wasn't ready. So I had to wait for it to become her idea before we could really get it rolling. And so I'd kind of leave little hints here and there, and then
Very smart man. I mean, any of you men out there listening to this, that's definitely a takeaway right there.
So finally, yeah, when she was like, okay, we're ready to go, it's like, oh, sweet. Here's a CRM, and we're going to start doing this and this lead source, and kind of started rolling from there.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, Desi, what made you finally decide, hey, I can own this real estate market here in Burley, Idaho, where I'm currently a part-time agent? And what was your production as a part-time agent?
I was doing
I think like 12. Well, in California, you got up to about 24, and then we moved. So then you went from like 0 to 12, like in the next year or so.
And then did I get up to 48 before?
I think that's when you started going full time. You went 12, 24, and then 89 was when it really kicked in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I went to like a KW Bold event, and I was like, why am I scared to succeed? And I guess I wasn't scared of success, I was scared of failure. And so it's kind of scary to be like, I want to go all in on this market, and I think I'm going to be able to take it over. And like, what if you try and you don't, then you're a failure. So I was kind of scared of that. And finally I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to do it and see what happens.
Yeah, you don't try, you don't get to know, right?
Yeah.
So this is a really fun story. So Desi, how many homes do you expect to sell yourself this year?
It should be right around 125.
Okay, so you sell 125 homes. I don't know how many of you out there sell 125 homes, but that's a lot of homes. I sold real estate for a year and a half, and I sold like 48 listings my first year, and I thought that was good. So to more than double that is just incredible. So you moved to this small market. How many people are in Burley, Idaho?
So in our 2 counties and kind of our area that we focus on, there's about 20 to 30,000.
Okay, 20 to 30,000 people. And how many homes sell in Burley, Idaho a year?
About 450.
Okay, wow. So 450 homes a year sell in Burley, Idaho. And you guys will sell over 200 this year?
Yep.
With yourselves, Tyson being part-time on the ops side, you being full-time on the sales side. Are your kids involved in this business at all?
They're young, but they do our signs and some of our advertising, and they come help out at the office.
Okay, how old's your oldest?
She's 14.
She's 14. Okay. And already helping out.
Our youngest is 5, and he comes to the office all the time. He's home for the summer right now, and he's like, I can't get anything done at this house. I need to come into the office and do some work today.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So you guys are then, I mean, you guys are almost at a 50% market share.
So so 450 total. So with sides though, it's 900. So we're about 25% market share.
Oh, okay. Okay. With 2 sides. Gotcha.
Yep.
900. Okay. All right. So, when I look at this, it's an incredible story. Desi, how did you go from 0 to 12 in this market to then, was it 24, 12, 24, and then 90 something? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 89.
89. Okay.
And she's done over 100 since then.
12, 24, 89, 100 plus. How does this happen?
So at first I had kind of a limiting belief. I was like, I can't use a CRM. If I'm texting people from the CRM, they all know my phone number and it's going to be impersonal. They're going to think I'm a robot. It's not going to work. How am I going to use the app? So I just had a lot of limiting beliefs around that.
Mhm.
But as soon as we implemented the CRM and I realized how many opportunities I had missed out on over the past several years, it was like a no-brainer. Like, I'll never not use a CRM again. And so I think one of the main things was the CRM and just putting people in there and using it every day so I don't miss out on people or forget about people. And then tracking our conversion with Sisu has also been huge, because that way we kind of know, okay, we're lacking here a little bit, and it also shows your pace. And so like if I'm behind on listings, it's like, okay, I need to go get some sellers. and it helps me pace myself. And then I think the third thing is just providing awesome customer service. Because one thing that we found in a small town, and it's probably true in most towns, is people have an expectation of service that they're going to receive. And if you exceed that expectation and provide just a raving fans experience, then not only are they going to use you for every transaction, but they're going to recommend you to all their friends and family. And we have one client where one of her relatives is an agent, and she's used us 5 or 6 times. They move a lot. So, yeah.
So I experience very close to Spring's team, of course, here, and I get to see a lot of her agents and how they do business. And I think there are a lot of agents just across the country that don't even ask for referrals. And I don't know if you do, but you provide a level of service that you get those referrals. So like, tell us, how do you actually get referrals? Do you ask for them, and at what point? And like, how does this all work out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't necessarily ask for referrals. I don't like call and be like, hey, do you have any friends or family looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months? I think it's just through our service, where we have one experience where this guy called me and he's like, hey, we're looking to sell our house. I was in Steve-O's talking about it. That's a local restaurant. And some guy ran over from a couple tables over and was like, hey, I heard you talking about real estate. Like, you've got to use Desi. And this guy's like, who is this guy? And why is he so crazy about our agent? Like, that's weird. And he's like, but I figured I ought to call you if he's that enthusiastic about you. And so that's the kind of service where people are just like, this is the only person who will take care of you. Like, she does so much and she'll get you so much more for your house. And that guy who went over to talk to him was actually a for sale by owner that I had ended up helping and stuff. So.
And I would say, in addition to that, is we stay in front of the people that we've helped. So we do quarterly client events where we invite them out. And it's just a way that, we kind of systematize staying in touch with them so that we don't lose contact. And if you're always talking to them, when somebody else brings up real estate, they're like, hey, you got to call Desi, or you got to call the Vista team.
Yeah.
And something cool is I know all of my clients' names. I know all of their kids' names. And so when they come to the event, it's like seeing an old friend.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just close with you now. Like, these people are all your friends. Like, you're the most popular person in Burley, Idaho, I take it. So is there anything during the process of closing? Like, I know I used to do this and it might be cheesy, but whenever I would work with somebody, I would always tell them up front, as soon as they would sign the listing agreement, I would say, hey, between now and closing, I just want to ask you, you're going to see a lot of people that, are buying or selling a home that are interested in that, because it's on your mind, right? So you're talking about it, so you're going to run into it. And if there's anybody that comes up during this transaction process, as long as I'm doing a great job for you, will you send them my way, right? And so I would try to open that door up, and then a week before closing, I would remind them, hey, you said you were going to send this person, because a week before closing, they're usually really happy. And usually they would give me a name then. And if not, that would give me a reason to, go to closing and ask for it then. But did you guys have any sort of process like that?
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is, as soon as they go under contract or as soon as they sign a listing, we have a big cookie package delivered. If they work somewhere where it's really public, we'll have it delivered to the front office with like balloons and stuff. And people are like, what's that? And they're like, I don't know. They open it up. Oh, thank you so much for listing with me, Desi, your realtor, or whatever. And they're like, oh, it's from my realtor. And people are like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. So somebody's at their workspace. Let's say there's 100 people at work. You send them what, a dozen cookies or something?
Yeah.
Send them a dozen cookies. They share it with everybody, of course. They're gonna take a little bite, maybe, or maybe eat one cookie, and the rest are gonna go to other people. And now they all think of you almost as their realtor, right?
Yep. And then the next thing we do is, once the inspection period's over, we send them a pizza letter, and it's cheesy, and it like has pizza all over it, and it says, Pizza Hut delivers, we do too. We'd love it if you would recommend us to your friends and family. And then it's got a gift card to a local pizza store like Pizza Hut or whatever you've got there. And then when they're moving, they have their friends and family come help them. We're paying for the pizza. And so then they
Okay, so the Pizza Hut is, you're telling them at that point you're going to buy them Pizza Hut, but the Pizza Hut is actually delivered and on moving day.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So again, you said you weren't didn't really have processes. You didn't really ask for the business, but you guys clearly every time are doing things that are driving their friends and family to use you.
If you've been enjoying Grit, please help us continue to grow the channel by leaving a 5-star review and sharing it with a friend. Now back to Grit.
Yeah.
Without asking, right? You're doing something of value. And I think that's the point here that I think is so important, is actually delivering value rather than just asking for something, right? You're always delivering value so the other stuff flows automatically to you. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, 100%. Another thing that we like to do is we have some contractors that we'll send tons of people to, or attorneys, or just different vendors. And so we're constantly sending people to them. So then when they have someone who's looking to buy or sell, they always reach out to us first.
Okay, awesome. Desi, you're doing 125 homes this year. What percentage of those are buyers? What percentage sellers?
I am about 52% sellers, 48% buyers, but of our buyers, most of them do come from our listings.
Okay, so you're representing both sides in most cases. Do you actually show homes, or do you have a showing assistant that does that?
I actually show homes. So we have had showing assistants and currently we don't have one.
Okay.
Right now, so
Okay, so you are a very busy person.
yeah.
Is that a true statement, Tyson? She's busy.
It's true. You know,
And you're busy too, because you run all of ops and you have another, are you still in accounting?
Yep.
Okay. So what's your full-time job?
I'm a controller for I want to say like an online dealership.
Okay. Okay. So like what's
So accounting,
like Carvana or something?
It's kind of like that. It's called Lease End.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So you have a background of accounting, but it sounds like, how did you get this background in systems? Like, how did you get this ops background?
I would say it's been more of, yeah, just interested in technology. So like I like to go learn probably more than is helpful.
Okay, so you're interested in technology. So you
Yeah.
do this research and you come up with this tech stack for Desi's real estate
Yep.
business and say, here's what you need to do. So what is the tech stack for the real estate business?
So we have a CRM. We're using Follow Up Boss now, and
Okay.
then we have Sisu, and we use Sisu for tracking and for our like open to close checklists.
Okay, so FUB is your CRM, all your lead follow-up is in FUB, integrates with Sisu, goes to Sisu as soon as an appointment gets set, and from that point forward, everything's managed in Sisu.
Yep.
And Desi is able to see if she's on pace for the year or not. Sisu. What about managing your agents, Desi? Do you do that out of Sisu and FUB as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because at first, so when he first introduced me to Sisu, I was like, I can't track my numbers. Like, it's so annoying. And he's like, it's on this app. You just like hit it. It's not that hard. But since I started tracking, it was pretty easy to get my agents on board with tracking. And now if we have a one-on-one with one of them and I don't bring up their numbers, like they get kind of mad about it because they're excited to show me what they've been doing. Or on the flip side, if they haven't been doing anything, it's like, why don't I have any under contract? It's like, well, let's look at what you've done the past 3 months.
Look at your conversations.
Oh, you haven't been hitting those. Like, what makes you think you're going to hit your goals?
So it's way easier to coach.
Yeah, way easier.
Your agents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious how you came across, like, what research did you do, Tyson, to get to this FUB Sisu solution?
So it's been a few years, but I was looking for a solution, and I think probably from another podcast hearing about different technologies. So then I'd go do the research, and when she went from 24 to 89, we just had a CRM. We didn't have anything else and no assistant. So she did that, doing all of her own paperwork, all of her own showings. And because it was hard to get her to hire an assistant or hand anything off.
Mhm.
So finally it was like, hey, if we, Sisu will allow you, look, it'll track all of your tasks so you don't miss anything. Because when you have 15 deals at a time, it's hard to make sure you're doing all the little things on every single one. So that was the original, is like just doing our open to close checklist was the original Sisu.
So rather than Desi having to check off every box and having to manage the back end of things, just by putting the task lists in place, And now you could bring in third parties who can manage and check off the tasks and do the back office stuff that the Desi shouldn't be spending her time on.
Right.
So
She had a paper
leveraging
checklist.
Desi's
I had
time,
a paper
basically.
checklist. I had a paper checklist. I would check it off and I'd have 15 paper checklists.
Did you have it in a spreadsheet or how did it end up on
No,
paper?
it was literally a piece of paper that I would print out.
Okay. And
check
you
it
would
off.
just print it out and keep one for every one of those 89 transactions. That's insane.
And
Well,
then I
Spring had
maintained,
whiteboards.
yeah, and then I maintained like a spreadsheet that showed where did our lead sources come from, how many closings, how many were buyers, how many were sellers. So that was another piece that we were able to like replace when we got
Okay.
Sisu implemented.
It's so nice to be able to just look and be like, oh, this lead source isn't benefiting us. Like the ROI is not there, and be able to cut off quicker than to just keep wasting money.
So stop spending leads where you're not making money. Isn't that just a novel concept?
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, so many people want to focus on how to get profitable, but yet they're not paying attention to something as basic as that, which is such an obvious decision to make, right? So, all right. So you guys are doing 200 transactions this year. Tell me about your back office team then. Like, how many people do you have? Who's in the back office?
So we have one TC that's remote. She lives in Texas and she's awesome.
How do you manage her if she's remote?
We just have phone calls. So we have a one-on-one every Thursday morning before things get crazy. And then there's a ton of texting, and she's really good about, if I don't respond, being like, hey, did you see my text? Did you see my text? Did you see my text? And just like going on and on over it.
You also can see what she's doing on the task list, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, our Sisu team, we have 50 people at Sisu. About 50% of them are spread across the country. And, everything for us, because we're a SaaS company, everything is in Salesforce, right? But we know exactly what everybody in the company is doing every day. So you have that same thing. It's just in Sisu and Follow Up Boss instead.
Yep.
Okay.
So between TC and me, that's basically our back office, and then the rest of our assistance is to support Desi.
Okay, so your TC is managing all of you have one TC managing 200 contract to close task lists a year.
Yep.
And I think that says a lot about Sisu, just the fact that
Yeah.
one TC can manage that many. And then the rest of the people are helping Desi just provide better quality service to her buyers and sellers.
And make sure our family stays found too, because we have
And
our
helping
kids.
make sure the kids
Yep.
are taken care of. Because
Yep.
I know Desi, I mean, I've done a little research on you, and like, I think the first and most important things for you are to be an amazing mom and wife.
Yep.
Like that comes over everything else. So when you're selling 125 homes a year, how do you keep, and this is probably, there are more women in real estate than men. So like, how do you balance that?
It's tough, and I don't know that there's a real balance, I guess. But what I've been really intentional about is I have my non-negotiables. I'm not going to miss one of their sporting events, and I'm going to coach them. Like I love coaching my kids, and those things bring me joy. And
What do you coach?
I coach basketball.
Okay, awesome.
Oh.
I coached my 3 oldest kids through basketball, all 3 of them. Well, my daughter didn't start till 4th grade, but the others from kindergarten all the way through 9th grade. So
Yeah,
comp leagues, everything. So
it's so fun.
great time. Yeah.
So fun. But yeah, I figure I only get them for 18 summers. So I want to make a big impact and spend as much time as I can. And so I don't waste a lot of time. When I'm at the office, I'm working, and I'm not chit-chatting or shooting the breeze. I don't waste a lot of time going out with lenders to lunch or title companies, because it's like, no, that's an hour of work that I could get done, and then I can be home with my kids sooner.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's awesome. Love hearing that. So you guys have developed these great systems. You are dominating the market there. I mean, if everybody would just do the basic things that you guys are doing, they could have tremendous success. I don't care what market they're in. You guys have proven that. It doesn't matter what market you're in. If you'll do these things, you'll be successful. So I know that you guys are now doing some marketing coaching, and you're doing some coaching on systems. Tell us more about this program. Is called Dwell. Tell us about Dwell.
Take it.
Go for
Okay.
it.
So basically what I've seen from my position and talking to other agents is that we ask agents to do everything, be a good salesperson, be good at contracts, be good at finding systems and implementing. And it's like, it's hard to be good at everything. So what we've done is try to be kind of like that back office solution for agents. So we help them, get set up on Follow Up Boss and Sisu, show them how to use it so that they can focus on what they're hopefully actually good at is selling and getting in front of clients.
Yeah.
So, trying to take what we're currently doing, helping Desi get 100+ transactions, and then basically installing that into somebody else's business so they can do the same.
So you're teaching agents across the country how to sell over 100 transactions a year, basically,
Yep.
by putting the right technologies and systems in place.
Yep.
So you don't have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, our goal
Save
is like,
time.
take what we've got, copy and repeat. We'll help you every step of the way. And then the script practice, what's working with our seller presentations, our buyers presentations. How do you prove your value, with everything with the buyer's rep coming up? It's like, how do you make people want to pay you to do the job?
So who is the ideal candidate for that? Is it it's really solo agents that want to be super high producing agents, it sounds like to me. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have kind of two options. We have like the agent, it's probably not the best for a brand new agent because we're not going to show you how to write a contract in Tennessee or whatever. But if you know how to write your own contracts, we can take you from there and grow it. And then we also have a solution for like a small team if they want to just plug into our systems and, kind of do their own coaching and things from there. So we do have kind of two options for them. But ideally, a solo agent doing 10 to 20 transactions that wants to do 40, 50, 100.
Yeah, very cool. So all you agents out there, that most of you are probably struggling in this market, not doubling in this market. So if you want to double your business or small teams, reach out and talk to Desi and Tyson. What's the best way to reach you guys if someone has questions and wants to learn more about Dwell or wants to learn more about how you guys are doing things? Because it's quite amazing what you guys have done.
Your Instagram?
I would say probably on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is Real Desi Williams.
Real Desi Williams on Instagram. Yep. We'll get you guys to Desi, who can answer any questions about Dwell. If you're watching, you can actually see Tyson's hat that actually has Dwell on it. So these guys know how to get it done. It's very impressive what you guys have done. So grateful to have you guys as customers, grateful that we can make an impact on your business. And it's really fun to watch and experience customers like you guys that just continue to grow every year, year after year. And what you guys have done to just pick up cold and go to Burley, Idaho is amazing. So if there's any last advice you guys have for anybody with the market we're in, everyone's going, okay, we have this lawsuit, we have interest rates. Like what is something that everyone should be doing today or moving forward into where we're going?
I would say just be consistent. Just do the little things that that you need to do, those conversations every day, even when you don't feel like it, and just up your customer service.
Okay, so always don't give excuses for not doing what you should do every day. Make the calls, right?
Yep.
And provide better service, provide better customer experience. That's great advice. Anything from you, Tyson?
I think a quote that we've been saying around here that we heard recently is you can't complain about the results you don't get from the work you don't put in. So that's a big one, that it's like, you want to set these big goals, but you're afraid to go make the calls or make the contacts. So I would just second what Desi's saying and stop looking for a magic bullet and do consistent work every day.
Yeah, it's great advice. It's really not complex, right? It's really quite simple if we just do the work.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, thanks for joining us on the Grit Podcast. All you listeners, thanks for listening to another episode. Go on and like this so that we can notify you whenever we roll out a new episode. And pretty consistently at this point, we're rolling out new episodes every Tuesday. So watch for that and jump in, listen to these so that you get to learn from people like Desi and Tyson, who have just created this amazing business by moving their family to a farm in Burley, Idaho. So you guys, thanks for joining us on the show and congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. If you have an interest in a free 7-day trial of Sisu, go to sisu.co, sisu.co. Make sure that you use the coupon code GRIT, that's GRIT, to waive all your setup fees and receive a 10% discount on your subscription. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to subscribe, search GRIT, the Real Estate Growth Mindset, on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Take care.